Good evening, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So I'm going to do a follow-up video to the video I put out earlier talking about the building materials. And in that video, I had shown a graph of the ticker symbol wood. It's an ETF that tracks global timber and forestry products. And it's in a downward trend. And just recently, since the December low, it has had a nice increase when it's heading towards its trend line, towards its upper trend line. And I said basically if it busts that trend line, we're going to see a nice move in the housing market. And if it hits that trend line and breaks down, then we are probably not going to see a very good housing market. And a lot of people had their reasonings to believe for the price of the fluctuation in these 2x4s had a lot to do with, like, say, inflation or stuff like that. And I'm going to give you my reasonings for the increase in the price of 2x4s and then the dramatic drop. And so this is kind of what I see, is that back prior to the summer and the building season really started kicking in, I noticed 2x4s started already going up in price. And I asked about it, and they said, well, you know, it's a really good building season. And, you know, there's a lot of product moving out. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I can go with that. And then by summertime, it was like off the charts expensive, right? 2x4s were selling for $4.50, and sheets of plywood were like selling for $26.50. And I was just like, these are the record numbers for me. And then later on, by December, the price had dramatically dropped, right? Like, we saw 2x4s go from $4.50 down to $2.89, and we saw sheets of plywood go from $26.50 down to about $18.50. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of the soft woods come out of Canada, and 2x4s, being a Doug fir, a lot of these 2x4s come from Canada, and there was this tariff scare, okay? So not only did we have this hot and heavy building seasons, which caused the price to go up, we also had a fear of tariffs, which also caused an inventory to build. The same time we had this inventory build due to these fear of tariffs on these 2x4s, we had a backlog of trucking, right? There was so much going on in the economy that there wasn't enough truckers to start moving these 2x4s out, right? So now here's a huge demand for these 2x4s to the building season with a backlog of inventory on these 2x4s coming out of Canada, and literally, like, the lumber yards had a hard time getting them, and we did. Like, at one point we could not get a unit of 2x4 green Doug fir, right? It was like we were shocked by it, right? But then eventually the lumber started going through and the prices started to drop, right? Because, you know, once you can start getting your hands on the product, then the prices start to come down. Okay, now at the same time, if you go and you look, the US to Canada dollar ratio was much stronger for the Canadians back at the beginning of summer. It has weakened since then, and it peaked out in December. Okay, so that could be one of the reasons why the prices of 2x4s were so expensive then as compared to now, is that the US dollar is strengthening against the Canadian dollar, being able to buy their product cheaper, right, than essentially they could before. So anyway, those are my reasonings for the prices of 2x4s going up and then the dramatic drop, right? Okay, I hope that kind of explains things a little bit better for you guys. Sorry, I just came off that walk, so I'm a little scatterbrained, but I hope you enjoyed the sunset, and just wanted to show you where I was sitting at here. Sorry, I put my hand right in front of the camera like that. This is the Pier 39. This is where the Rogue Brewery is, and the Coffee Girl, I believe, is in there, and yeah. And there's the shot of the bridge, because I know you guys like that. If you guys can see it through the branches here, let me get a better shot there, you guys. All right, Uneducated Economist. Talk to you guys later.